Hey guys, Will here, and my lighting is kind of crappy. I admit it. It's basically just a bunch of desk lamps placed all over the room, hoping for the best. So I wanted to do something about that, so I'm going to make a battery-powered studio light using an old go-kart battery, a white LED strip, and a plastic container lid that I found in the garage. So let's get started.
I started marking out the location for the holes I needed to drill for the tripod mount, the potentiometer, and the on-off switch. I used a cardboard box to drill into and started out using a small drill bit to drill out the holes and basically just drill out the rectangle more or less to get that started. And then I switched over to the 1/4 inch drill bit to drill out the final size of the hole. And using a flush cutter, I cut out the rectangle for the on-off switch and making sure that that would be a nice snug fit. I then measured the first strip of LEDs and cut them to length. I peeled the back off and placed it onto the lid. I had already drilled a hole on the one side of the lid where I can feed the wires through to power the LEDs. And then I placed the switch and potentiometer into their locations and hot glued them in place. And whoever used a hot glue gun before me used some glittery glue, so that's why there's some gold glitter in there. And then I fed the first 2 wires through the hole and soldered them onto the strip. And then I wanted to solder them to the switch and to the potentiometer, so I got some heat shrink tubing and started soldering them all together. For the last end, I got a really long stretch of wire, about 8 feet or so, that will connect to the battery. This will give me plenty of slack in the wires to place the battery where I need to. I then did the same thing for the negative wire and soldered that together. And got some heat shrink to seal that off as well. I then got a couple of ring connectors to connect to the wires which will go to the battery. But my crimping tool isn't very good, so I ended up just soldering them together. And it was just a matter of cutting out all the other LED strips to length before placing them onto the lid. I placed them in an alternating pattern, basically one upside down and then next right side up. This will give me negative to negative and then positive to positive when I need to solder them later on. Soldering took a little while as the curvature on the lid made the wire almost impossible to stay in place. So I ended up using some electrical tape to help me keep them in place and pre-tin the wires, and then when I went to actually solder them onto the strip, I used a small file to basically put some pressure on the wire to make sure it made a good connection. I then mounted the tripod base onto the lid so I knew where it would be and drilled out a couple holes so I can have a zip tie to keep the wires in place and sort of take off some of the pressure from the wire. And it was just a matter of connecting the wires to the battery and testing it out. But after some testing, the potentiometer I guess couldn't take the current and it eventually just stopped working. So I decided to take it out, which wasn't much of a loss anyways because adjusting it at all basically made the LEDs way too dim to be of any use. So taking it out isn't a problem.
Alright, so it's done, but let's see how well it actually works. This, as you can see, is the old lighting, and now the new light. So, as you can see, it came out pretty well. I think it looks pretty good. The old lamps are off, only the LED panel that I just built is on, so you can see how well it works. I'm pretty happy with it, as I said, and I am definitely going to be using this in the future. It's nice and portable, I can take it wherever I want, so that's definitely going to be a big help. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and hopefully you learned something. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more videos as they come out. So, thanks for watching guys, I will see you next time.